What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Prairie State Patriots YouTube channel. I told you guys before that I had a special video coming up, and that was on this, the Kimber Warrior 1911. This is the first version of the Warrior before they put the firing pin safety block in it. I was actually quite happy to get my hands on one of these. Brand new in the box, old stock that the shop on the East Coast just happened to have. I'm going to do a quick overview of this before we get into actually shooting it. Standard size of a 1911, it's about 5 inches tall and about 8 inches long. One of the key differences is it has these rail slots on the bottom here. It has 3 slots where you can add a light or a laser. Standard skeletonized trigger has a screw for over travel adjustment. Skeletonized hammer here on the back has a textured grip safety for a nice positive lockup on your hand. Nice extended beaver tail. Has some pretty aggressive checkering here on the front strap, as well as on the mainspring housing. Has a nice grip to it. It came with these G10 grips that are like a sand color and black. And you'll notice that it has slide cuts on the front as well as the back. This also has Mepro light night sights on it that it came standard on it, and an ambidextrous safety. I thought those are both nice features. The only thing, just looking at this, I wish it had, that it does not, was more of a shelf on the rear sight so you could cock this with one hand. But that's not really a huge deal breaker for me by any means. So we're going to try this out. We're going to do 1,000 rounds with this today and see if we can get this thing to run. This is my first Kimber. I have no experience with them. Lewis has some experience with them and it wasn't necessarily good. So we're going to see how it pans out for me today and see if we can get it to work. I also forgot to mention, guys, I have 3 different magazines we're going to be using. I have a Kimber, a Wilson Combat, and a Chip McCormick. They are different capacities. We're going to be running them all at capacity because, like we did in the SIG video, if you haven't watched that, I'll throw that up here. We're going to be tracking malfunctions. When we do have malfunctions, I'm going to track which magazine it happened with to see if there's some sort of pattern to establish there. We're going to start out with the 7-round Kimber magazine. Alright guys, so I just got through my first 250 rounds with the Kimber Warrior. We had a few malfunctions, nothing major or catastrophic. We'll go over all of that at the end of the video because we also are keeping track of which magazines it happens with, and we're starting to notice a pattern with one of them. We'll talk about that later. One thing I did notice after the first 200 rounds is the safety has really been riding my thumb. So you guys notice I have gloves on now. My thumb was starting to get a little bit raw from riding on that safety. But we're going to take a quick break, let this thing cool off a little bit. I'm not going to clean it yet. I'm going to let Lewis do his 250 rounds. We'll get some shots of that, and then we'll come back for the second half of the video where we each do an additional 250 rounds.
Alright, so this is going to be my first shots with this Kimber Warrior. Now, full disclosure, I have had poor past experience with a Kimber, but I'm always open to change my opinion. After my first 250 rounds with this Kimber Warrior, I gotta say I'm impressed. I had 2 stoppages, but I believe that was due to my inexperience relatively with a grip safety. Strengthening my grip, getting a better purchase on a firearm. Haven't had any failure since.
So guys, I just got through my second 250 rounds, so we're 750 rounds deep in the Kimber Warrior. As you guys can see, there's a lot of residue on the muzzle here, but I mean it wipes right off. And I'm amazed to say that we have not cleaned this since I initially got it. I did a clean and lubrication before we started this test, and we have how many actual malfunctions so far that weren't user related?
Down to 4.
Possibly 4. At least 2 of those are kind of iffy. We're not sure if that was a user malfunction or if it was the actual gun. So we're saying 4, maybe 2. We're going to figure that out in post after we watch the video and everything. But I'm pretty impressed with this thing so far. We're going to let it cool down a little bit because it is quite hot, and we're going to do the last 250 rounds. And like I said earlier, guys, we have noticed a pattern with these malfunctions pertaining to which magazine we're using, but we'll cover that at the end of the video. Thousand rounds, Kimber Warrior. Alright guys, so we just finished our official 1,000 round test with the Kimber Warrior. I will say, I was kind of worried about this after I bought it. I'd seen a lot of bad reviews about Kimber. I'd also seen a lot of good reviews, and like we mentioned earlier, Lewis did have some bad experiences with Kimber personally in the past. Different handgun, I want to throw that in there. But I'm happy to say that after putting 1,000 rounds through this, we had a total of 3 malfunctions, which we chalked up to magazine issues because we used a 7-round Kimber magazine that came with the pistol, an 8-round Wilson Combat magazine, and a 10-round Chip McCormick magazine. All 3 malfunctions were recorded with the Chip McCormick magazine. I believe they were all failure to return to battery. So I don't know what was causing that, but I'm happy that the stock magazine worked out in this because I had read a lot of people having issues with Kimber magazines in the past. So that being said, I am very happy with the way this thing performed. It seemed like the dirtier it got and the harder we ran it, the better it shot, because we did not clean this during this 1,000 round test. I'm going to try and show this up close on the camera, see if you guys can see in it or not, but it is very, very dirty. And I mean, it still ran flawlessly all the way up to the end. We were doing mag dumps. We did some practical shooting. I did a lot of one-handed practice and off-handed practice, and I'm happy to say that I was actually very proficient one-handed with this, which is something that I can't say about shooting my Glock, and I need to practice more with that. That's more of a training issue than a gun issue. But Lewis, what did you like about this?
It was comfortable to shoot. We shot it till it was scalding hot and filthy. As far as Kimber goes, I would recommend this specific handgun. I think that you definitely need to test any Kimber model that you get to make sure that it runs, but this one in particular ran flawlessly a day.
So would you recommend this as a carry weapon?
This one specifically for sure.
I'm pretty happy with it. This was expensive. I'm not going to tell you that Kimber's a cheap gun because it's not, but I'm confident that I got what I paid for, so I have no regrets. And you guys might notice this has different grips than it did whenever we started out. That has nothing to do with the function of the pistol. The stock grips were fine. Honestly, we got this because we're both Magpul fanboys and we wanted to try them out. These are Magpul 1911 grips, and I can honestly say after trying them out, I do prefer them. They have a deep thumb cut here on the left-hand side, and that's very comfortable, especially when doing one-handed work. But anything else you'd like to add?
No, I did really enjoy the Magpul grips. They do seem thinner than the stock grips, but
guys, we appreciate you watching. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you'd like to see more content from us, hit the subscribe button and drop us a comment down below. Let us know what you liked, didn't like, and would like to see in the future. Thank you guys very much for watching.